Professor of Music and Director of Vocal Performance, Mackenzie Longwell. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous skies, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket trembled, bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
College football returns to Buena Vista, Virginia. Southern Virginia Knights playing host to the visiting Bridgewater College Eagles. Hello, everybody. Chris Fly alongside my good friend Quinn Meyer for today's game. Quinn, two very well-contested teams, both looking to bounce back for slow week one.
Yeah, both teams had difficult losses in the first week of the season, but SVU, starting a new era under the leadership of Coach Dupay, are looking to get things off of the bang.
It looks like Bridgewater will receive first. You mentioned Quinn, Coach Dupay. New season for him, coming back to Southern Virginia after having a stint at the Naval Academy over in Annapolis. Bring a lot of experience coming there, using the triple option from Navy most of the time.
Yeah, you know, he's been here before, and then he also just came from a very successful, well-established program at Navy. So I think we're all optimistic that he's going to bring a really good run game to Southern Virginia and allow that run game to improve the pass game as well.
We'll see if Southern Virginia can do that on the offensive side. First, we'll see the Knights defense. Bridgewater looking to receive, back to receive for them, number 13. And that is Viante Tucker, wide receiver from Roanoke, Virginia, formerly playing out of Salem High School. He's back there.
And one thing that Coach Dupay did mention earlier this week is that he really wants his team to win the kicking game. They weren't able to do that last week against CNU, not only just with field goals and punting, but also the kick return as well.
Big kickoff for Isaac Lopez, returning back for Bridgewater. Game underway. Gerber Fount's got space, immediately finds the opening. And finally tackled down. But in attacking position, good return, number 32 for Bridgewater, Brendan Robinson.
So yeah, a tough start to that one. That's one thing that Coach Dupay wanted to fix. But the Knights will have their defense back on the field and a chance to swing the momentum back in their favor.
See what the Southern Virginia defense has in store for this Bridgewater offense. Bridgewater running multiple quarterbacks throughout the season so far in their one game. It looks like Jasir Bateman out there to take the opening snap for the Bridgewater Eagles. First run gets the outside and a little bit more.
So that's one thing that the Knights defense is really going to have to focus on. You know, they don't have a ton of size down the middle, so they're going to really have to contain those outside plays.
Pass for Bateman hauls it in, tackled in, looks like it's good enough for a first down. That was Ian Brown, sophomore from Owings Mills, Maryland, with his first reception of the contest. Two successful plays for Bridgewater so far, lining up again. Bateman takes the snap, hands it off inside. Good for a gain of a couple right up the gut. And Quinn, so far, a fruitful opening drive for the Bridgewater College Eagles.
Yeah, you know, Bridgewater, they're a high-scoring team. They've got a few dual-threat quarterbacks that they rotate through, just as you mentioned earlier, Chris.
Quick pass out again. Bateman gets it to the outside. Good enough for another first down. And picked up again, Ian Brown on that left side.
And after getting outscored quite heavily last week against Susquehanna, you know Bridgewater's going to have to, they're going to be motivated to come out swinging early on.
Well, Susquehanna ranked 22nd in the nation so far in the early season polls. Bridgewater second in the ODAC in preseason voting polls amongst the coaches over there in the ODAC. Big pass out, completes it to the outside. Still going is Brown, finally brought down by a host of Knights. Quick game working so far for Bridgewater. A couple runs up the gut. Passes out to the flat so far for Bateman. Bateman, lone man in the backfield. Pass goes in, completed. Fighting for it, looks like just short of the goal line. It'll be first and goal for Bridgewater.
And this is going to be a situation that's going to really test the newcomers of Southern Virginia. Lots of freshmen on the team, lots of freshman starters as well. And this is one of the keys to victory at the Knights that Coach Joe Dupay mentioned earlier this week, is to win the critical situation. So first and short, just on the 1 yard line. Certainly a critical situation for the Knights early on.
Critical situation coming really early on for the Knights. Bateman under center. Fauntleroy, he gets it, and no signal yet. Fauntleroy looked like he might have had it. They'll call him down just before the goal line. It'll be second down and goal for Bridgewater. Kennedy Fauntleroy, man with the carry just there. Junior from Baltimore, Maryland. One of the returners for this Bridgewater College squad. Same formation, Bateman under center. Same play again. That time he gets it. Kennedy Fauntleroy. So Bridgewater comes out swinging, gets the opening touchdown of the game.
And that'll be Fauntleroy's first touchdown of the season. He was second on Bridgewater's team last week against Susquehanna with 33 yards to his name.
PAT is up and good. Bridgewater up 7-0 over top of the Southern Virginia Knights, but now we get to see the opening drive for the home opener of head coach Joe Dupay and this Southern Virginia offense.
And expect the Knights to continue with their spread offense that they showed last week. We'll see lots of the receivers like Jairick Washington and Seth and Matt Johansson in motion.
Well, you talk about Jairick Washington. He is there on the field, number 7. He'll go back, look to return this opening kickoff. Jairick Washington's second team last year in the USA South voting. One of the speedsters for this Southern Virginia offense.
Jairick, also a dual sport athlete. He was a member of the conference-winning indoor track and field team last year. And there was a lot of focus on Jairick in their game against CNU last week, so he wasn't able to get too much going. So he'll certainly be motivated to get back on track this week.
Well, Jairick, one of those guys, when people use the phrase track speed, he actually embodies it, like you said, being on the track team. All he needs is an opening. See if he gets it here. Opening kickoff.
Let's see if they don't kick away from him. Looks like he's going to track this one down.
It will be Washington on the return. Looking for space, finds a small crack, but good defensive effort there by Bridgewater.
And while they didn't get to about the 45-yard line like Bridgewater did in their last possession, that's still a good start, much better than last week against CNU, where they were struggling to they were even struggling to get to the 15 or 20-yard line. So already improvement on the kicking game for the Knights.
And Quinn, you had an opportunity to talk to Coach Dupay before the game today. He mentioned some keys to the game. What if you can let us in a little bit on the inside of Coach Dupay?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, he really wants to focus on winning the turnover battle and then also winning the kicking game, especially punt returns and kick returns, as we just saw, as a lean and offsides there. But also winning the mental game, so no silly penalties. There are a lot of flags in the game last week against Christopher Newport going both ways. A couple that called back some long gains for the Knights.
Found themselves on the opposite end of that flag battle. First flag of the game will go against Bridgewater. That was number 9, TJ Lowry, veteran linebacker for their squad, senior from Abington, Maryland. And now we take a look at the SVU offense. Look as it'll be Isaiah Maxey, sophomore from Jefferson, Georgia, to take the snaps for Southern Virginia. First snap in, looks to get outside. Short gain there for the Southern Virginia Knights.
And it'll be interesting to see how Isaiah Maxey responds from last week. His first real full game action. I know he stepped in a few times last year for the Knights.
Max there and at quarterback. In the backfield with him, number 30, one of the captains for the Southern Virginia squad, Alex Langtree. Washington in motion, they hand it off to him, jet sweep. Jairick Washington finds some space. Good enough for the first down for Southern Virginia.
And that's what Jairick wasn't able to find last week, but good blocking there on the left side was able to open up a hole for Jairick, and it turned into about a 10, 15-yard gain.
Washington with a big gain. First down, Southern Virginia. Three-man front for Bridgewater. Play clock winding down. Looks like got it off. Looks like it would be a timeout for Southern Virginia. Saw something that he didn't like on that Bridgewater College side.
Yeah, but with a quarterback who doesn't have quite as much experience, it's good to take your time and rethink things and see what the defense is offering.
And we talk about that experience. Quinn, Southern Virginia, big handful of freshmen on their squad this year.
Absolutely, and you know, I think Coach Dupay, he mentioned that, you know, everyone needs to take some sort of a leadership role in the locker room, and I think he's excited to allow these freshmen to grab those roles and make a leader out of them.
Eagles back out on the field, ready to go. Southern Virginia getting the warning. They'll make their way out too.
And not only are there a lot of freshmen on this team, there's a bunch of newcomers. I think 50-plus newcomers on the side of Southern Virginia. So they'll all be learning together and look to their captains to lead them.
Jet sweep, other side. Big hit there on the outside too. Little gain for the Southern Virginia Knights. And that was Dominic Dwyer on the carry. So Dwyer gets first carry of the game, makes his way out. Washington back in.
And look for this group of receivers, Matt Johansson, Jairick Washington, Scott Dupay on the left side trying to spread the field.
Trying to get the snap off before the play clock ended. It looks like they just got it off. No gain there. Good stop by the Bridgewater defense. Third down, Knights moving fast. Third down and 11. Maxey takes it. Swings it out to Langtree. Langtree gets a good 4-yard gain. It'll be fourth down for the Knights. They'll be forced to punt.
So the Knights coming up empty on that possession. But once again, you're looking for steady improvements from the team. That's what Coach Dupay mentioned. He said he wants to see a considerable improvement from last week against CNU. And I think we have seen that so far in the Knights despite being down 7-0 early on.
Big punt up. That'll fall out of bounds. So Bridgewater opening touchdown on their first offensive drive. See what they can do here.
And that's Mike Brown on the punting duties for Southern Virginia, also a dual sport athlete. Plays lacrosse in the spring for the Knights.
There's a couple Southern Virginia Knights playing 2 sports here at SVU. Dahl being another one of those. Plays lacrosse in the springtime. 2 tight ends in motion. Bateman gives it off. Fauntleroy. Good game for Fauntleroy. Flag at the end of the play. We'll see what that's for. And it looks like it's going to be holding against Bridgewater, so that big game for Fauntleroy is going to make its way back.
And I believe that's the second flag on Bridgewater so far. So the Knights doing what Coach Dupay wants, winning the mental game.
And that was holding on Bridgewater, number 70, Adam Bowling. Big junior from Apex, North Carolina, standing at 6'6". Bateman takes it. Hands it off, run up the middle. Good game for Bridgewater. Brings up second down.
And that's Colby Hyder in the middle. Real strong guy. He'll make a big impact this afternoon for the Knights.
Second down and long for Bridgewater. Bateman drops back to pass, launches it, finds a man. Good game for Bridgewater on the opposite end of that pass. Tyler Gilliam, wide receiver from Appomattox, Virginia. Another one of those seniors for that Bridgewater squad.
Yeah, they've got a lot of experience, obviously a very established program.
It'll be third down and 6 for Bridgewater. Trips right. Bateman in the shotgun. Knights bring the pressure, gets the catch, but will not get the first down. It will be close.
That's a good wrap-up by Jamar Robinson. Another thing they'll look to improve on from last week is there were a lot of tackles broken by the captains last week at CNU. And simple wrap-ups like that result in critical situations that Coach Dupay wants to win.
And those are just the simple mistakes a young team can make. Big decision here for Bridgewater. Fourth down and short. They'll stack the line. Bateman takes it, hands it off. Fauntleroy gains enough for the first down before he's dragged down. So a gutsy call by Scott Lem, third-year man for Bridgewater. When we talk about Scott Lem, head coach for the Bridgewater College Eagles, in his third year after graduating from James Madison University, and every year he's been at Bridgewater, they have nothing but improved. From his first year there all the way to now. Again, picked second in the preseason poll over in the ODAC. Bateman drops back. Quick pass out, Fauntleroy. Fauntleroy finds space. And finally, he's dragged down. Yeah,
Fauntleroy certainly picking up where he left off. last week against Susquehanna.
Fauntleroy brought down on that play by Dell Simmons, one of the freshmen for this SVU squad. He hails from Portsmouth, Virginia. He wears big number 94 on the line. Another handoff to Fauntleroy, that time right up the gut, and Fauntleroy continues to find space.
Yeah, you know, Fauntleroy looks to be Bridgewater's lead back this year. Last year didn't get a ton of snaps, did have 2 touchdowns. But he's certainly taken a feature role in this Eagles offense.
Play action pass completes the pass, be a gain of about 5. It doesn't go much further than that. Receiving that pass, that was Derek Jenkins, his first catch of the afternoon. Graduate student from San Antonio, Texas.
And it'll be interesting to see how the Knights continue to adjust to the Eagles offense. And DBs are tending to play quite a ways off the receiver, but that's a really nice play and a fumble.
Big break for the Southern Virginia Knights. It looks like it will be a fumble, and it will be Knights ball. 3:34 left to go in the first quarter. Southern Virginia takes over.
And just as I was about to say, they're playing very far off the wide receivers. 3 Knights converged on the receiver there, and it forced a turnover. So they're winning a lot of key battles that Coach Dupay mentioned earlier in the week so far.
So after further review, it looks like it will be an incomplete pass for Bridgewater. Southern Virginia defense trots back out, and Bridgewater now with a statement. Bring up 3rd down and 6. Bateman all alone back there. Quick pass out. Another big tackle for Southern Virginia. And that was Seth Dahl, freshman from Highland, Utah, with the hit stick on that play.
Yeah, a lot of speed and strength shown by Seth Dahl there. Looks like the Knights have been able to adjust to the passing game of the Eagles in the past few plays, and it's resulted in a...
Well, last time Bridgewater went for it on 4th down. They got the 1st down. Let's see what they do here. 4th down and 6. Big pass coming for Bateman. Pressure comes from the Knights. Flag on the play.
It came in the backfield. Chance it's on the offense on that one.
Very good possibility for that, and you would think if it was against Bridgewater, Dupay would know the choice but to decline that and take the ball back for themselves. So Southern Virginia, after giving up a touchdown on Bridgewater's opening drive, get a turnover on downs here on the 2nd try.
Yeah, really impressive defensive stand there by the Knights. And their D-line tends to be outmatched in terms of size compared to other teams' offensive lines, but they're showing a lot of heart and strength on the defensive side there.
Absolutely are. Southern Virginia with the offense. Maxey drops back. Pressure bought. Big pass in to Washington. Snags it, brings it down. Great awareness by Isaiah Maxey. Finds his man, Jairick Washington, middle of the field. Brings up 1st down for the Southern Virginia Knights. Wasting no time, under 3 minutes now. Maxey back there. Langtree joins him in the backfield. Maxey back to pass. Just overshot his man. Couldn't find Isaac McMullen.
Isaac, another freshman on the starting lineup from Connecticut. Another receiver that you'll see in motion a lot.
Handoff Langtree. Flag on the play.
Looks like it might have been a false start by the right tackle.
It's around that area. If so, that couple yard gain for Langtree is going to be brought back. It'll be offsides against Bridgewater.
Yeah, there was a jump on the left side. Just wasn't sure if it was caused by one of the offensive linemen for the Knights.
Either way, a 2nd down and 5 for the Knights. Maxey back there with Langtree on that left side. Dominic Dwyer. Brings a man in motion, hands it off to that man. Tackled for a short gain. There is a flag on the play. That was Scott Dupay with the jet sweep on that run.
Looked to be a jump on the right side that time. Looks like Isaiah Maxey's count has been difficult to figure out for the Eagles.
Another one against the Eagles. 1st down, Southern Virginia. Trips left, Southern Virginia. Maxey has it. Langtree back there with him. Maxey takes it, pass back, looks for his man, but not there, no flags on the play, brings up 2nd down for Southern Virginia.
Yeah, they're looking for Jake Schenk on the right side there, one-on-one with the defender.
Now, Quinn, you talked to Coach Dupay. He mentioned how the importance of the running game will be. It looks like Southern Virginia coming out throwing the ball a lot here in this 1st quarter.
Yeah, and I think that's good, especially for Isaiah Maxey. He didn't get too many throws last week against CNU, but he's looked good so far. He's been very poised in the pocket. Offensive line has given him more time than last week.
Hands it off to Langtree. He's blown up in the middle. Big tackle in there by Eagles number 59. Zach Collar, senior linebacker from Midlothian, Virginia.
Yeah, there is just nothing down the middle there. Bridgewater certainly expecting that run right down the middle.
Brings up a 3rd down and 11 for Southern Virginia. Well, Quinn, you mentioned it before. You just talked about it. Max being very poised in there so far for especially such a young quarterback under a new head coach in Joe Dupay. Maxey takes it, rolls out to his left, fires, finds a man. Brings it down close to the 1st down mark. We'll see if he brings it up. That was number 17, Scott Dupay.
And I was about to mention, there's just a lot of size for Bridgewater inside, and I've liked the idea to roll out to the left or the right. They found a lot of success finding Scott Dupay or Jairique Washington, and it's paid off so far.
Finding success outside the tackles, under a minute left to go here in the 1st quarter. 4th down, big
Another
1st down.
Situation.
Big 4th down for Southern Virginia. Bridgewater looks to bring the pressure.
Maybe try to get him offsides with another hard count.
Absolutely right. Timeout goes to the way of SVU. Looks like they were trying to draw him offsides, like you just mentioned earlier. A couple of offsides calls against the Eagles. Why not try it on that one? So now the decision comes up to Coach Dupay. 35 seconds left to go here in the 1st quarter. You're in a positive field position. 4th and short. put on your head coach's cap? You going for it? You kicking the field goal from here and trusting your kicker?
I think they will end up going for it. You know, best drive of the season so far. And again, it's these critical situations that Joe DuPay wants to win, and why not practice it now early in the game here still in the first quarter and try to test this Eagles defense.
We'll see who they have in store. Offense makes their way back out.
And they're only missing just a few inches.
It is 4th and short to the shortest degree possible. Maxey lines up in shotgun, surprisingly. Trips right. Southern Virginia 4th down and inches. Maxey has it. It's a pass. They'll find the man. He makes his way to the first down and more. That's Langtree. And Alex Langtree dragged out of bounds, but not for a big gain there for SVU.
Great play again. There's lots of size in the middle for Bridgewater, and even though it's 4th and inches, find your captain to the outside and get a really nice gain on 4th down.
Excellent play call by head coach Joe DuPay. Brings up a fresh set of downs for Southern Virginia. First time in the red zone for SVU.
It looks like this is Kevin Williams. Probably had the best game offensively for the Knights last week. Just 5 carries, but 20 yards against CNU.
Williams was a man in their first quarter ends. Southern Virginia in attacking position. Bridgewater holds a 7-0 lead over top of the Knights so far.
And not only are they close to the scoring, but they've allowed their defense to get some rest. Unlike last week, it seemed like the defense was always on the field. And so this bodes well for both sides of the ball for the Knights.
So Knights finding success early here in the first quarter. Bridgewater again up 7-0 over top of the Southern Virginia Knights. And you talk about the game against CNU they had last week. Not able to get a lot going here, but definitely looks like a turn of the tide for Southern Virginia here in the start of this one.
Absolutely. They've looked really good offensively. Even the first drive that they had where they only ended up with a few yards was significantly better than last week. So this is going to give this team a lot of confidence and will bode well for not just the rest of the game, but the rest of the season.
We'll see what they have in store. Just a reminder, Knights Athletic Department would like to thank the following sponsors for the continued support of Knight Athletics: Straws, Drinks, and Eats, Grace Automotive, Papa John's Pizza, Mills Creek Orthodontics, Final Cuts, The Beef, Katana, River Crossing Apartments, and Cornerstone Bank. So Southern Virginia with their first down. Maxey back there. Williams back there with him. Hands it off to the big man. Finds his way outside. More space for Kevin Williams.
Joe DuPay mentioned lots of upside for Kevin Williams. As we mentioned, probably had the most success offensively for the Knights last week. And you'll continue to see Maxey in the gun with Williams right next to him.
Williams averaged about 3.2 yards a carry last week against CNU. He got another chance here, but he is swallowed up in the backfield by a host of Eagles. And on the tackle, number 7, Sean Harris, another grad student. This one from Washington, D.C.
And again, I like the spread offense for the types of players the Knights have. It's been working out so far, but each time they go inside, there's just nothing there. So we'll see what they do next.
3rd down and 3. Maxey back there. Williams back there with him. Maxey to pass. Looks up. Looks for his man. Not there. A lot of contact. No call. Incomplete pass. That'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, that looked to be good defense by the defensive back of Bridgewater. Lots of contact, but he had his hands right in the middle of the shoulder pads, not grabbing, not holding. That's a good defensive stand by Bridgewater.
And Knights were looking for Jake Schenk. They've done the play a couple times here, the Knights and DuPay. Look for Schenk on the outside. Look to one-on-one his man. Knights look to kick the field goal. That's 36, Jerem Reed. A fire call by SVU, nothing there, and they were brought down. That drive ends in no points for Southern Virginia and a defensive stand for Bridgewater.
And the Eagles Eagles got to the ball quickly. Looked like just a broken play where they're going for a typical field goal, but at the last second.
Now, obviously a disappointing end to what was a very impressive drive for Southern Virginia. But now we get to see that Southern Virginia defense force a turnover on downs. Their last time out on the field against Bridgewater. Back there for the Eagles again, that is Jasir Bateman. Bateman hands it off. Fauntleroy down the middle. Pick up a couple for the Eagles, brings up second down.
Well, and despite no points on the last drive, they were able to push back the offense of Bridgewater, which is forcing them to work with a lot of field here.
Bateman has it. He drops back to pass. Looks deep, does Bateman. Hauls it in, but what will the call be? Says he's out of bounds.
Great.
Incomplete pass.
He did catch it, but he was just out of bounds. A great effort there. It was Derek Jenkins, I believe.
Grad student from San Antonio. Called his name a couple times today. Almost hauled that one in just too far out of bounds.
Yeah, really speedy down the right side. Pretty similar to Jairique Washington.
Brings up 3rd and 7 for Bridgewater. Bateman back there. Got 2 men on either side in the backfield. Bateman drops back to pass. Looks again, not there. He was looking for the hands of Cedric Drumgoole. Couldn't find the 5'9" junior.
Yeah, Seth Dahl and Stockton Ferguson right in the middle there. The field have looked really good so far for the Knights, clogging up those lanes, and it could have turned into a pick had Seth Dahl turned around, but nonetheless a really great defensive play.
So 3 and out for Bridgewater, brings up the punt unit for the Eagles. Back to receive for the Knights, that's Isaac McMullen.
That's going to turn into a safety for the Knights, so winning the special teams battle again still.
Well, Quinn, you look down for 1 second, and what do you know? Knights up on the board. 2 points to their names. It's 2-7. The Knights underneath the Eagles.
And winning these special teams battles turns into winning the mental game. So maybe Bridgewater a tad rattled after that really long offensive drive by the Knights, and it's turned into points, and we'll see if they can counter again.
Windy day today here on the fields of Southern Virginia, but that does not stop the Knights faithful from showing out. Home opener again for the Southern Virginia Knights. Good crowd here today, Quinn.
Yeah, an excellent crowd. You know, obviously, as we mentioned earlier, in a new era of new leadership for the Knights under Coach Dupay, and then Bridgewater also just a couple hours away from Buena Vista, and a good showing for their fans as well.
Yep, not a far drive for Bridgewater, just about an hour and 20 minutes down I-81. And with that safety, Southern Virginia will get the ball back. Back to receive, we see Jairique Washington. Kickoff is there, and Washington will pick it up. Washington looked like he had space, stumbled a little bit. Good return, though, for SVU.
That's as good a field position that you can ask for if you're the Knights.
Probably no need to remind the people at home, Southern Virginia, impressive drive their last time out. Didn't end with points, but they picked up 2 on the safety on the next defensive drive. See if they can keep up that momentum from that last drive. Maxey back there. He's got Williams by his side.
Here's Isaac Mullins in motion again.
They gave it to Williams, not much there. Looks like it'll actually be a loss on the play. Good stand there by Bridgewater. Now the Bridgewater defense, a couple of returners, big names for their squad. Number 2, Aaron Moore, senior from Roanoke. He was part of that ODAC all-defensive first team last year. And joining him, their very own number 90, that's Tucker Harris, junior from Halifax, Virginia. out there for the Bridgewater College Eagles. Don't see him out there right now. Maxey back there. Drops back to pass, does Maxey. Airs it out. Wobbly pass. Looks like it's brought down.
And that's Johansson again right down the middle. Pretty wobbly throw. But again, the middle of the field is wide open for the Knights receivers. Lots of speed in their legs. And they've converted yet again.
Now it was a good catch by Johansson. Now, unfortunately, there is a Knight down in the backfield. And this early in the season, home opener, this is stuff you don't like to see, especially this early in the season.
Certainly, and so we hope he's okay. He's getting attended to nicely by the trainers. But the Knights, their biggest play of the season offensively. Isaiah Maxey's looked really nice under pressure in the pocket so far today.
And that cannot be understated. He had a lot of pressure coming in from the outside, stepped up nice in a clean pocket, created his own, then delivered a strike down the middle. Southern Virginia man makes his way back up. Good to see that. Bryce Lampert makes his way off the field. Accompanied by the training staff here at Southern Virginia. Paul Tobias, one of the SVU athletic trainers over here. Been with Southern Virginia for a number of years, one of the best trainers out there. So the Southern Virginia offense rumbles back onto the field. Three-man front again for Bridgewater. You don't see a lot of teams run that nose tackle anymore, but Bridgewater going back to that old style. Nose tackle, D tackles along either side. Maxey has it, he hands it off. Not much there again. Knights having a hard time running it up the middle. They tried to Alex Langtree that time.
Yeah, again, a lot of size on the defensive line for the Eagles, and the middle of the field there in the run game is just clogged up. Nothing going there for the Knights, so they might have to look outside with their speedy wide receivers.
There's a new face in there for Bridgewater, number 97, Preston Turner, graduate student from Blairs, Virginia. He's got 97. Knights find it on the outside. Short gains for SVU out in the flat. And that was number 81 for SVU. That was Baker on the play. First time we mentioned KK Baker's name on the broadcast.
Yeah, KK Baker, freshman wide receiver out of Eagle Mountain, Utah. Attended Cedar Valley High School.
Brings a man in motion. Look for the quick wide receiver screen. Read that like a book.
Yeah, and that seemed to be the same play, just to the right side, and Bridgewater ate that up.
That was Amari Presley on the tackle. Well, that'll bring up 4th down and 10.
And again, Jerem Reed, starting kick for the Knights. We'll get a second opportunity. This looks to be about a 46-yarder.
46-yard attempt. A lot of wind back here, but it is at his back, so he's used it to his disposal. Another fire call. That one read in the backfield. And the Southern Virginia special teams cannot get it done. Brought down in the backfield, number 1, Derek Jenkins.
Yeah, tough moment there for Kai Wilkinson. And, you know, as a freshman, those are just learning experiences, just as Coach Dupay mentioned. But again, 2 really nice drives back-to-back by the Southern Virginia offense, and they'll look to build off that.
Brings back out Bridgewater. Bateman back there. Another pass for Bateman, finds his man outside. Brought down again by a host of Knights. That's number 13, Deontay Tucker. Tucker with the catch. He is brought down by Knights number 25, Tyson Brenchley. Another pass out, same play, brought down again. And that was Knights number 16, Colby Hyder on the tackle.
You know, I think both defenses in this game have been able to adjust to the offenses very well. There's been a few times where each offense has gone back to a similar play, and the defense has swallowed it up.
We see Fauntleroy back in there for Bridgewater. We see them had a lot of success running it up the middle. 1st and 10. Let's see what they do here. Bateman back to pass again. Quick pass. That one not picked up. He was looking for Cedric Drumgoole. Second and 10. Bateman still back there.
And look on the left side here. Bridgewater receiver stacked up.
Another quick pass outside. Brought down for a short gain on the tackle, Colby Knight.
Yeah, a really good read by Colby Knight. Looked like Bridgewater might be trying to run a screen there.
Flags on the play after the play. Looks like Knight's getting to some extracurricular activities. That's not going to get you extra credit in this class.
Yeah, and for Coach Dupay, that's not winning the mental game, so he takes him right out. Just give him a nice talking to. It's a learning experience. Obviously, he felt he was fouled on the play.
Well, it takes 2 to tango. Let's see what the white hat has to say for this one.
But great compete by Sean Brown. Let's see if they call it both ways. Doesn't look like they will.
After the play is over, I've unfortunately found it on home lead. 59 on White, 91 on Southern Virginia. Those penalties were offset. Playing 3rd down. This is the first unfortunately I found a penalty for both the players.
So fortunately for the Knights, penalty on both teams, so that'll offset.
That's a good call by the ref at the end of the day. 2 people in there called on both offsets. Just quick warning for both teams early here in the second quarter. Bateman back to pass. Unloads it, finds a man. 1st down, Eagles.
Yeah, that's one of the rare instances so far this afternoon that the Knights have left a receiver wide open in the middle. And fortunately, it was thrown a little bit too far to the right, but the receiver makes a really nice play.
That was
a nice gain.
That was Tyler Gilliam with the pickup. Fresh set of downs for Bridgewater. Southern Virginia with a 4-man front. Play action pass, finds him again. Caught for a short gain, Gilliam.
Haven't seen Bateman roll to the left or right too much. But he was using his legs there, but the Knights stuffed that one right at the line of scrimmage.
Quick handoff looking to go through the middle. They found success with Fauntleroy down there. That time, Kaysen Spackman on the tackle. And Quinn Spackman, one of those guys that Coach Dupay talked about before the start of this game.
Yeah, Kaysen Spackman, a really strong guy down the middle again for the Knights. So looked for him to make some big plays this afternoon for Southern Virginia. Critical situation again for the Knights, 3rd and 8.
Big tackle in. And it looks like as soon as that play started, had a big crack of thunder. That'll send both teams in to their respective locker rooms. So an unforeseen stop to this game. 7:48 left to go here in the second quarter. Eagles lead the Knights 7-2. And it looks like we'll take a weather break here at SVU. So as the players make their way into the locker room, not halftime yet, but basically another little break for you. Eagles will have it. We here in the booth are going to step aside. We'll take a quick break. We'll bring you back as soon as the action restarts here in Buena Vista. Eagles 7, Knights 2, SVU home opener. We'll be right back.
They're currently under a lightning delay. The NCAA regulation is 30 minutes following the last lightning strike in the area. So at this point, the delay will be at least 30 minutes, and we'll keep you posted.
Back from the rain delay, things back underway with no wait whatsoever. First pass in, that one's caught. Hauled in by number 18 for the Eagles. That's Ian Brown, wide receiver from Owings Mill, Maryland. Mentioned his name a couple times throughout the broadcast already. Again, Chris Fly here to bring you all the action. I'm joined by a new face and new voice, Mr. Nick O'Connor. Welcome to the broadcast booth. Good game we have here today.
Yes, thank you very much. It has been a good game. We should expect to see more of the same. But with the rain and the weather delay here, we're going to see how that affects our players moving forward. Already on the previous play, we see a little bit of slippage from the feet of the defenders. So that should be affecting play a little bit more, but hopefully these players are going to be able to manage that.
But absolutely should. Had that lightning delay, like we mentioned before. And then rain just started pouring down here in Buena Vista, like you mentioned. We should see a lot more running from the Bridgewater College Eagles. See if they do that. That first run they just had, not going anywhere. Back to pass. That one's caught. Caught in the middle of the field. Space. Finally brought down, but inside the red zone for the Eagles.
Yes, and that looked like number 4, Seth Dahl, on the tackle.
Dahl with the tackle. Jasir Bateman, the quarterback for the Eagles, had a really good first quarter. He put up 7 points for the Eagles. He was up 7-2 over top of the Southern Virginia Knights right now. Get a 1st and 10 for Bridgewater. A new man in. Wildcat formation driving right up the gut. A little bit of space on that. Man behind the snap, that was Malcolm Anderson, graduate quarterback from Stafford, Virginia. Nick, that was the man we thought was going to start this game. Malcolm came in, 5th year here at Bridgewater, his 2nd year starting this year, and he played all the snaps against Susquehanna in that game a week ago.
I believe that's right. Now, we should be seeing a lot more running out of this team, as you've said. Rain makes that ball a little bit harder to throw. So I think on both sides of the ball, we're going to see them holding onto that ball tightly. So we'll see if SVU, our Knights, can't turn it around and get their run game going.
Anderson with a good gain up the gut. Looks like Anderson makes his way out. Back into the game is Bateman. Make a 3rd down and 1. Well, the Eagles knocking on the doorstep of the Knights. I formation, Bateman under center, not I formation. One back to back there, gets it inside. Another touchdown. Kennedy Fauntleroy had the first one in the first quarter, comes back in here in the opening parts of the second after the rain delay and puts up the Eagles 13-2 over top of SVU.
And as we've seen so far throughout the game, these Eagles just have big linemen on both sides of the ball. SVU's been struggling a bit to give them an answer.
Hendren's extra point. That one's up. And it is good. Make it 14-2 lead for Bridgewater. 5:12 left in the second quarter. Again, after that big rain delay, almost like feels like a brand new game here in Buena Vista.
It's a little unfortunate for our Knights. I feel like they were just starting to get into the groove of things. They were just starting to get the feel that perhaps it was about time for them to score. But then the Thunder, game stoppage, and it seems that momentum is shifting again.
And just refresh everyone's brains, you're absolutely right. SVU had 2 really successful drives in the latter part of that first quarter, and they opened up the second quarter. Couldn't get any points on the end of that. 2 botched field goal attempts left them with only 2 points on the safety that Bridgewater gave themselves on that punt opportunity. But we'll see if Maxey and the SVU Knights can have something in store for this drive, keep up that same momentum that we saw quite some time ago.
Absolutely, and they've not been able to make much happen on these kickoff returns thus far. But certainly, they're hoping to change that, see if they can't get a little bit better field position.
Hendrick kicking off. Washington back to receive for SVU. Booming kick. Washington underneath it. He will field this one. Jairus Washington not getting too far. He's dragged down by number 7, Sean Harris of Bridgewater.
And we love to see what happens when Washington gets his hands on the ball. He's got electric feet moving around, incredible speed, just unable to break it right there.
Like we mentioned before the break, Jairus Washington, 2nd team All-Conference in the USA South in the 2022 season, looking to capture that same momentum that he had at the end of last year. Maxey back Joining him back in the backfield, Alex Langtree. First carry by Langtree here after the rain delay. Under 5 minutes left to go here in the second quarter.
And we've seen here throughout the game, Langtree is a strong runner, just been unable to push through this strong defensive line. Those are big guys over there, and Langtree not quite so large himself.
Langtree, Maxey back again. Maxey back to pass. Gets that one off. It's right into the hands of Bridgewater's Aaron Moore. Couldn't bring it down. Aaron Moore, all ODAC first-team defense last year. Senior coming into this Bridgewater College squad, had that right at his fingertips.
Now, he had that pass dead to rights. Perhaps, though, the wetness of the ball affecting that a little bit.
That brings up a 3rd and 9 for SVU. Bridgewater with the 4-man front this time. That outside linebacker creeping on that right side. Jet motion for SVU. Maxey back to pass. Lets one fly. That one just out of the reach of SVU's number 17, Scott Dupay. So a quick 3 and out for SVU brings out the punt unit on this 4th down.
So we saw a good route run on that last play. Just a little too far outside. Receiver seemed to even have a bit of separation, but unable to complete.
Punt coming in. Big hit before the ball gets down. And there is a flag on the play on that one. Tate Leach was looking to field that for Bridgewater.
It definitely came in a few moments too early there. That's going to get the flag every time.
Officials conferring in the middle of the field. We'll get an exact call here on that in just a second. And one of the very few penalties we've seen for SVU so far today. In the early parts of that first quarter, before that long rain delay, the only flags that we had seen had been on the Bridgewater College Eagles.
Yes, SVU benefited quite a bit from some of those, gaining a lot of yards based off of offside calls.
And that will advance the Eagles down further down the field, giving them better field position for this opening drive. And Bateman's going to take the snaps. Next to him in the backfield, Kennedy Fauntleroy. Fauntleroy with both touchdowns so far for Bridgewater. Snap goes back to Bateman. Play action pass, pressure by the Knights. Excellent pressure by SVU, brings down Bateman in the backfield. SVU's number 92. Snap goes back to Bateman. Up the middle with Fauntleroy, keeps his balance. Big gain for Fauntleroy.
Well, Chris, Fauntleroy has had powerful running all day. We see him running the ball up the middle, pounding it. And SVU struggling time and time again to bring him down.
Brings up a 3rd and 10 for Bridgewater. Bateman back there, trips right for the Eagles. Bateman goes back to pass. Looks up right through the hands of the SVU's number 16, Colby Hyder. Couldn't get his hands on it.
Yes, just a bit high for him to be able to bring that down. But as you said, he broke that up. Brings up 4th down.
Now, several times throughout today's game, we have seen Bridgewater go for it on nearly every single fourth down. This looks to be no different. 4th and 10, a lot of room to go. Scott Lim not afraid of turning the ball over on downs. Jet motion, Bateman back to pass. Bateman looks up, finds a man. Does there have enough room? Gets him out of bounds. And it looks like it will be a turnover on downs for SVU.
Good turn of events for our Knights. They'll be looking to make a quick score before we break for half.
Bridgewater's gone for it on 4th down 4 times so far in this game. They have only converted on 2 of those attempts throughout the day. SVU has it. Maxey's back there. Langtree next to him. Jet motion coming on the left side. Fumbled snap. And Maxey wisely goes down on that one.
Yes, and the wetness of the field and evidence there. Just unable to keep a hold on that.
You also have to think that rain delay, that really long rain delay after so much momentum for the Knights, has to have shaken this team. Might be starting from 0 here.
Yes, it would seem that way.
Maxey has the same play going again. Fumbled the snap. This time didn't even make its way back to Maxey. McCade Bradley, the center for the Knights. Got that one tangled up before he made it back to the hands of his quarterback.
Yes. Officials out to deliberate, though. I think we come to an exciting part of the game here. We get to see what sort of package the Knights have put together for their 2-minute offense.
Absolutely, 2.5 minutes left to go here in the second quarter. Just so the folks at home know, there will be no halftime. It'll only be a 5-minute break between the second quarter and the third quarter after that large rain delay. Maxey drops back to pass. Pressure coming. Screen pass was in the hands of Langtree. Couldn't bring it down. That brings up 3rd down for the Knights. 3rd down and 9 for SVU.
Now, often on this type of down and distance, the Knights have preferred a screen to the outside or some sort of check down, and that seems to have been able to get them quite a few yards thus far in the game, help them with their possessions in the past.
Maxey's back there. Langtree off. Kevin Williams in. Maxey back to pass. Pressure coming from the Eagles, and they swallow him up in the backfield. In on that tackle, number 48 for the Eagles. That's Jalen Cunningham, senior defensive lineman from Aberdeen, Maryland.
Yes, and nothing the QB could do there. Just put his head down, take a hit, cover up the ball.
That'll bring out the punt unit for SVU. Mike Brown back to punt for SVU. A little bit of housekeeping had to be done, putting some more time back on the game clock. It looks goes from 2:04 to 2:12. Give the Eagles a little bit more time for the end of the first half. And Nick, the really impressive part, even with that large rain delay, almost an hour worth of rain delay, we still have so many Knights fans here inside the stands for opening day.
Absolutely. I mean, these are definitely a dedicated fan base. These fans that come out here are loyal and loud.
Punt goes in. Good pressure by the defense all the way to bring it back. Fair catch called. He'll down it. Right around the 47-yard line in Eagles territory. After that punt, 2:07 left to go here in the first half. Eagles lead 14-2 over top of SVU. Tale of 2 drives here for the Bridgewater College Eagles. Come back after the rain delay, score a quick touchdown with Falteroy. Next time out, you turn it over on downs for the SVU Knights.
Absolutely. Now, to go back and speak to the fan bases, I believe Bridgewater has That's quite a large population here as well today.
Bateman back. That one goes into the dirt. Nick, you're absolutely right. Bridgewater not too far up I-81, about an hour, 20 minutes from here. They definitely travel well. Those Eagles do. 2:03 left to go here in the second quarter. Eagles to lead 14-2 over top of SVU. It'll be 2nd and 10 for head coach Scott Lim and quarterback Jasir Bateman.
Yes, Chris, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this ball go right back to Fauntleroy. See him rush it right up the middle. He's been able to get 4 or 5 yards at least every play he's gotten his hands on it.
Tight end in motion, moves over to the right side. Bateman back to pass, heaves one, finds a man downfield. Ball goes out. Don't rule it a fumble. SVU's ball. First drive back from the rain delay, touchdown. Second against the SVU Knights defense, you turn it over on downs. Third over, fumble recovery for the SVU Knights, headed the other way. 1:54 left to go here in the second quarter.
You have got to be excited if you are a Knight. Feels good to get that ball back with plenty of time left on the clock. Plenty of time to make something happen before we head into half.
There's a new man in to take the snaps. That is number 11 for SVU. That is Lachlan Hackey. Hackey takes the snap. He hands it off to Williams. Williams looking for space, couldn't find it on that opposite end. Swallowed up by the Eagles defense. Number 9 for Bridgewater, TJ Lowry, senior linebacker from Abingdon, Maryland.
Now, Chris, it appeared to be freshman Kason Spackman on the fumble recovery there. His teammates definitely celebrated him on the sideline. Brought the sword out, showered him with water or Gatorade or whatever it may be. They were certainly excited for him.
The turnover sword, one of the main staples here at SVU. It has gone through several years and several coaches. Defensive player gets a turnover, comes to the side, and he gets knighted by his teammates. Really cool tradition they have here at SVU. And Lackman, one of those guys that coach talked about before the game, see a lot of him today.
We certainly love to see it. I'm sure the parents at home love to see it as well. Has to be fun for them.
Knights coming back out. It'll still be Lachlan Hackey. We've seen a really good showing from Isaiah Maxey so far. He is not out on the field. Again, being replaced by Hackey. Hackey drops back. Looking for space, goes out to his left, heaves a prayer. That one goes outside.
A lot of pressure on the play, Chris. Couldn't find an open receiver, just had to throw it away.
A veteran move by the freshman quarterback, Lachlan Hackey. First year at SVU out of Idaho Falls, Idaho, formerly playing for Skyline High School. He will stay on the field. Southern Virginia Knights, 3rd and 10, 1:38 left to go here in the second quarter. Trips right. Shank is one-on-one with his man. Hackey drops back. Hackey heaves one. He was looking for Jalen Troy, but Jalen Troy wasn't looking for him.
No, it seemed that they just got their connection crossed there. Jalen appeared not to be aware that the pass was coming to him quite so quick.
That'll bring up 4th down for SVU. They'll look to punt it away again. Third punt and just as many drives for SVU here in the latter parts of this second quarter. Big punt out, booming punt down. He'll field it. Swallowed up by SVU in his own zone. Well, it was an excellent punt coming in by Brown. An excellent fielding by Southern Virginia. In on that tackle, number 86 for the Knights. That is Deshaun Andrews, freshman from Fairfax, Virginia.
Knights are pleased with the field position after the punt. but they certainly would like to see one of these offensive possessions move a little bit further than they've been able to thus far since the return.
Knights on defense, Bridgewater back in. Bateman's back there. 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line of the Eagles. Bateman back to pass. Quick pass in and immediately swallowed up. Excellent tackling there by SVU's number 3, Stockton Ferguson. Ferguson, a guy we mentioned a couple times throughout this broadcast, one of those linebackers, has a nose for the ball. Junior from Hoover, Alabama, also one of the captains for this Knights squad. Another pass by Bateman, finds a man out in the flat, gets the first down, and walks his way out of bounds. That was Freddie Watkins with the reception.
It seemed Bridgewater is content currently to dink and dunk 5 or 6 yard passes down the field.
Empty backfield, trips left, Bridgewater. Bateman back to pass. Airs it out, has a man, overthrew him. He was looking for the hands of Viante Tucker.
And no sooner do I speak to the short passing than they decide to take it deep down the field.
Must be a bug in your headset. They're listening to you down there. Brings up 2nd and 10 for Bridgewater. Under a minute left to go. 56 seconds here in the second quarter.
I think bug in the headset or not, it speaks to good offensive coaching and play calling. You get the defense caught into one thing, looking for one thing.
Same set. Bateman has to scramble. Couldn't find his man. Looking for Ian Brown.
We do have a flag down on the play.
Good spot in the realm of holding. We'll see what the official call is. And it will be holding against Bridgewater. That'll back them up. A new face came for the Knights while we were waiting there. That was old number 99 for SVU. That's Jacob Seawright, junior defensive lineman from Cocoa, Florida. Jacob and his brother Dylan both playing defensive line for this Southern Virginia Knights squad. Look, 3-man front coming for SVU. 2nd and long for Bateman. Bateman back to pass. Pressure coming in. Bateman uses his legs and he'll run out of bounds.
Yes, and that holding call, just the most recent of a number of penalties so far this game.
We've seen a lot of penalties so far, mostly on the side of Bridgewater. It wasn't until after that long break that we saw SVU really grab some for themselves. Nevertheless, 3rd and 13 for Bridgewater. Big stop coming up for SVU. If they push to a 4th down, you'd have to think that head coach Scott Lem's going to punt it from this position. 3rd and 13, Bateman back to pass. Bateman moving up the pocket. Throws that one out.
And you're right, Chris, you would think in this field position he would punt, but he hasn't thus far, so we'll have to see.
It looks like a new unit coming in for Bridgewater. That will be the punt unit. Had a Knight get shaken up at the end of that play. That was old number 92 for SVU. Number 92 for SVU, Peti Iolu Potea. He was in on that big sack. That last Bridgewater drive. Big punt up and away. Fair catch called. Southern Virginia ball at the 42, 34 seconds left to go.
Now 34 seconds is not an exceptional amount of time, but I believe they do have a few timeouts left and opportunities to get the ball out of bounds. So opportunity for something still to happen here. Looking for a quick strike out of these Knights.
And it will be Lachlan Hackey back there for head coach Joe Dupay. High snap corralled, brought it in, looking for his man, had it. And they will say that he caught that ball. Jairique Washington with a gain for SVU.
And I'm sure Washington would have preferred to get to out of bounds there. Unfortunately, unable to.
Washington, one of those guys, wants the ball in his hand, wants to find space, has that full track speed, looking to use that. 2nd and 7, or 2nd and, looks like it'll be 2nd and 10. They'll call that an incomplete pass. Airing it out is Hackey. He's got his man. Interception by Bridgewater. He was looking for the hands of Jake Schenk.
Just covered up by defenders there.
Jake Schenk went up to go get it, but Noah Hines of Bridgewater comes down with it.
Is unfortunately when you have this amount of time left on the board, you feel like you've got to make something happen, and sometimes that leads to an occasional pass being thrown into coverage.
So it looks like the Southern Virginia offense is still out on the field. We will get any information that we have as soon as we have it. But what looked like to be a clean interception by Noah Hines. Looks like Southern Virginia. So it looks like it'll be a roughing the passer call against Bridgewater. That negates that interception. Southern Virginia has it, a fresh set of downs and 20 seconds on the clock.
Bridgewater hurt by penalties once again. Gives another opportunity to these Knights.
Second chance given to SVU. Timeout will be called.
Bridgewater, this is their final timeout of the half.
And that will leave just 20 seconds on the board.
Timeout called. You're Southern Virginia. You're given a second chance after that roughing the passing call. Fresh set of downs, 20 seconds. Put your coach's hat on for me, Nick. What's the play call?
Well, I think in this scenario, if you're the Knights, you have to be passing the ball. There's not enough time to be keeping the ball on the ground, not enough time to be putting it into the hands of the runners over and over again. And Bridgewater knows this. They're going to be sitting back, giving some cushion. But the Knights are going to be attempting to pass the ball and get their receivers to the sideline.
We'll see what they do. We saw all the kickers for SVU. Each one of them individually got 3 of them, easily making kicks from right around this 40-yard line. So we'll see if head coach Joe Dupay has something in store, maybe trying to get a quick 3 points. Maybe take a shot at the end zone. We've got Hackey back in the backfield. Next to him is Williams.
If they could get the ball to about that 30-yard line, I think a kick could be in store for them.
Bridgewater looking like they're bringing pressure. That they do. Blitz coming in from the Eagles. Quick pass out. Excellent pass. Williams directing traffic. He's got space. Working his way down. He's inside the 20. .11 seconds left to go. Hackey has it. It was a big pass in, but just a duck underneath. Hackey spikes it. 8 seconds left to go, and it looks like the field goal unit will trot out for SVU, but how about that play underneath to Kevin Williams?
Oh, absolutely. In a moment where the defense was crashing in hard. Not many options out deep, which is the perfect outlet, perfect.
Excellent play call. Saw the blitz coming, had your outlet pass right there. Dunk it down, and Kevin Williams did the rest, directing traffic down there. 8 seconds left to go. And now some talk. We saw the field goal unit go out, but now we see the offense starting to huddle around head coach Joe Dupay.
Safety valve is the word I was looking for, Chris.
Southern Virginia, this is their final timeout of the half.
I imagine there's going to be no change here. Field goal unit's still going to come back out onto the field.
That is very much an option. We also might see one quick pass, throw it up to a big tight end or a big wide receiver there in the corner of the end zone. If he can't bring it down, oh well, 3rd down, kick that field goal. We'll see what head coach Joe Dupay is doing. You thought they were going to throw it long that time. Didn't get right underneath. Head coach Joe Dupay. Plethora of offensive experience, usually running the triple option, deciding to do the spread here with SVU.
We're seeing plays like that are the reason they're paying Coach Dupay and not me.
8 seconds left. Southern Virginia knocking on the door. Maybe one more play left in them before they have to kick this field goal if they don't get a touchdown in the end of it. Hackey's back there. Williams back there with him as well. Bridgewater comes out. 3-man front, actually 4-man front coming here for Bridgewater. 2 D tackles, 2 D ends. Got that all ODAC first teamer on that left side. Hackey airs it out. Got a man, not there. Broken up in the end zone by Bridgewater. And even though they don't get a touchdown in the end of it, Nick, I don't dislike that play call.
No, absolutely. Like you said, they had the time to run it. Didn't end up in the hands of the defense, which gives them the opportunity to put points on the board.
And looking to get those points, number 36 for SVU, that is Jerem Reed. Jerem Reed, really bad luck so far on the field goal unit. Hasn't been able to kick very many.
No, they've had a little bit of trouble with the snaps here.
Reed's kick is up. And it is no good. They'll say wide left on that kick. 3 field goal attempts for SVU. Haven't had a single one go in for them yet. But we'll take 5 minutes here for the second half. I guess technically halftime for 5 minutes. We'll stay right here as we continue our coverage of SVU football. 14-2 is the lead for Bridgewater College. You will come out of this break and Bridgewater will have the ball. What do you expect to see from head coach Scott Lem and the Bridgewater Eagles?
Well, Chris, I would say the Bridgewater Eagles are not too satisfied with the amount of penalties that they've been racking up. I imagine they'll work to limit those in this coming half. But being that they have the lead going into the half, I imagine we're going to see a lot of run plays coming out of them.
We did see a lot of success out of Bridgewater with those running plays, mainly off the hands of Kennedy Fauntleroy, junior running back from Baltimore, Maryland. He's got both of the touchdowns for Bridgewater so far, and he's really been tearing up that Knights interior with just simple dink and dunks right through the middle. Southern Virginia done a really good job of guarding the pass, not giving too much out of the air. It's really on the ground they need to make their bones. So 4 minutes left to go till the second half starts. We will take a quick break here. We will bring you back at the start of the action in 4 minutes. Bridgewater will have the ball. Eagles lead 14-2 over top of the Southern Virginia Knights. We'll be right back. We welcome back to SVU for our coverage of SVU football. Bridgewater Eagles hold a 14-2 lead over top of the Southern Virginia Knights. It will be Bridgewater ball. We get back to action. Again, Chris Fly here to bring you all the action today, and I'm joined again by my good friend Quinn Meyer. Quinn, welcome back to the broadcast booth. What have you thought of the game so far?
Well, I've really liked what I've seen from the Knights. Of course, to answer your last question, talking about Bridgewater, you know, they've done enough to pad their lead a little bit here in the end of the first half. But the Knights, I think they've caused some frustration for Bridgewater defensively and offensively. Obviously, they've had 3 really nice drives that didn't result in points, but they're putting themselves in a really good position to succeed, which is exactly what Coach Dupay wants out of them.
I must have misspoke several times. We'll be SVU to start off this half. We're all kind of got to get used to. Had a 5-minute halftime, and the second quarter lasted about 2 hours. So kickoff goes off. Bridgewater. Southern Virginia takes it up. Finding space and brought down was Williams. So it'll be SVU ball in their own side of the field. 14:55 left to go in the third.
And Coach Dupay switching things up just a little bit in the kick return, putting Kevin Williams. He had a really nice end to the first half. That big game that put them in field goal position. So he's built himself a strong game and a strong season so far, being the best offensive threat in their game last week against CMU.
And Williams finds himself back in there in the backfield right now, alongside Lachlan Hackey. Now, we saw a lot of Southern Virginia quarterback Isaiah Maxey through that first half, but then about midway through the second quarter, we now see Hackey back there for Joe Dupay. Handoff to Williams. Actually, Hackey keeps it, brings it to the outside. Good move, trying to find some space. A lot of east to west movement, a little bit of north there for SVU. That's number 18, Dominic Dwyer.
And it's not a bad idea, faking the run to Kevin Williams, who Bridgewater now knows is a big threat. Good-looking option, but just didn't have quite the space on the left side.
Out of the shotgun again. Final 10 seconds of the play clock. Winding down. Hands it off, looking to get outside. Finds some space. There goes Williams. Foot race down the left side. And finally brought down within the 10, Kevin Williams.
And again, Kevin showing great speed down the right side, made a really nice cut. Really good block in there, though, on the right side by Isaac McMullins. Creates the biggest play of the season for the Knights.
Easily the biggest play of the game so far for SVU. And just like that, Southern Virginia finds himself in the red zone. Hackey back there beside him, number 33. That is Walter Collins. Hackey back. Gets outside. Short gain for SVU. Isaac McMullen with carry.
And I think the spread offense really benefiting Southern Virginia here against this Bridgewater defense, as they found a lot of openings as on the outside as the DBs have been playing far off the receivers.
Look to go down the middle, find some space, gain some just short of the goal line. But excellent work there by SVU's number 33, Walter Collins. Didn't find anything in the middle, bumps it outside, finds some yardage. Collins back there. Williams also in. 3rd and 1. Direct snap all the way in. Touchdown, SVU. Walter Collins gets the nod, and Walter Collins gets the touchdown. Reed's kick is up and good.
And that's a really good ending to an amazing scoring drive by the Knights. That'll give Jeremy Reed some more confidence as he wasn't able to take a couple of the field goals in the first half.
You see Southern Virginia kind of changing up tactics. They didn't find the run game in that first half. Couldn't run it up the middle, bouncing everything outside now. Finding great success, that run with Williams, and then a touchdown with Collins.
And this goes in line with what Coach DuPay was saying. Typically, the Knights have boasted a really nice running offense, but Coach DuPay said you get your pass game from the run game, and that has been on display here in this game so far.
12:47 left to go here in the third quarter. Eagles 14-9 over top of SVU. Well, it's got to be a weight off the Southern Virginia Knights' shoulders. First touchdown of the year, first touchdown of the game after having so many chances there in the first half.
It'll definitely give the Knights some confidence going into the rest of the game today. And don't forget about the really quality blocking from the wide receivers of Southern Virginia. During that drive, Isaac Mullins, amazing block on the right side to allow Kevin Williams to get that long 50-yard run.
Excellent eye, something that really goes underappreciated in today's game. Big kick by Lopez, fielded by Bridgewater. Taking it up, looking for spaces. Tackled inside, brought down by SVU's number 45. That is Hunter Lewis.
And even after all those failed attempts to score, the Knights are only down 5 points now. So we got to give a lot of credit to Rick Berry and his defensive squad. Rick Berry, of course, just joining the Knights this year, coming from Desert Hills High School where he won a state championship last year.
Absolutely, that defense for the Knights has been something special. Giving up a big gain that time, a little bit shy of the first down, but a good 8-yard gain there for Bridgewater. Now, Quinn, outside of the opening touchdowns for Bridgewater, the Southern Virginia Knights defense has really, truly remarkably held up.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of containing Bridgewater's receivers. There's really not too much down the middle in the passing game, and that has caused some frustration and a couple of turnovers on the part of Bridgewater.
Well, there was a Knight down, shaken up on the field. Can't see exactly who that is at the moment. Again, one of those things, so early in the season, it's your home opener here, second game of the year for both of these squads. You don't see anyone go down, let alone a starter.
Yeah, it's important to stay healthy throughout the season, of course. A lot of contact. Football, a very tough sport.
And as you look on the field, it's one of those situations, members from either team can't help but look inside, just see what's going on. And thankfully, we see the big man back on his feet.
Yeah, Inoke, a really good teammate, great leader for the Knights squad. Has been here for a few years now. Also a dual sport athlete. Throws shot put during the spring track and field season.
Yeah, number 90, one of SVU's Inoke Kaufusi, junior defensive lineman from Roosevelt, Utah. Like you mentioned, dual sport athlete, throws in the springtime. And he'll go back into the locker room to get checked out even further. That run doesn't go very far. Southern Virginia with a stop brings up 3rd down and short for Bridgewater.
And I'm a little surprised that Bridgewater's opted not to use the legs of Bateman, the quarterback. You know, he's a taller athlete, he's got lots of length, and there's been a few times where he's had some open field in front of him, but has opted to pass and resulting in incompletions. So let's see if they give him the green light to carry the ball.
Running up the middle, second effort, gets him close. Does he have enough space? It looks like he'll just be just a yard short of the first down. And this, like we've seen before, is 4-down territory for head coach Lem.
Yeah, we saw the only time that they opted to punt was when they were deep inside their own zone around the 20, which of course at that moment was obvious to punt, being the end of the half, but let's see if the Knights can hold them off. It'll give them excellent field position to take the lead.
Well, Jacob Seawright came into the game for SVU. 4th and 1, QB sneak. Looks like he'll get enough. Fresh set of downs for Bridgewater. Now back to what you mentioned before, not electing to use the legs of Bateman here inside this game. You mentioned their game against Susquehanna. They did kind of run a dual quarterback system. One guy would come in to run, the other guy would come in to do most of the passing plays. We haven't seen that today. It's primarily just been Bateman.
Yeah, it has just been Bateman, and Jalen Wood was the primary ball carrier last week when he came in the quarterback position. Haven't seen any of him. So it's interesting, the offensive setup this weekend for Bridgewater.
And the primary passer that we saw last week for Bridgewater would have been number 17, the 5th-year man, Malcolm Anderson. Haven't seen him but maybe 2 or 3 plays here in this game.
Yeah, so they've opted to go with a little bit less experience, or a lot less experience in Bateman, rather than Anderson, who threw for 11 touchdowns last year.
Big pass in, finds his man, incomplete pass.
And that's another situation where he's opted to roll to the right. He's created some space for himself, but opts to throw, and it turns into another incompletion. Those are times where I thought he might try to run it, find his way around the defensive back, but bodes well for the Knights.
Well, Jasir Bateman, only a freshman from Lynchburg, Virginia. First year of college play, so maybe this is an opportunity for Lem to see what he's got in his young quarterback, or maybe a quarterback controversy brewing over in Bridgewater. Bateman drops back. Almost had it.
And Seth Dahl smartly laid out for that one, but couldn't quite get it.
And it looked like Dahl would have got his finger on that one if he just had maybe another hand on it.
But again, it's good coverage to the outside. The Knights have excelled at that all day. And that was no different, just a really nice pass and catch by Bridgewater.
Where it was a 3 and 10, turns into a 4th and 3. Another 4th down opportunity for Bridgewater. SVU looking to continue their 4th down dominance.
Another critical situation, another key to victory for the Knights. They lost last one. Let's see if they can win this one.
Empty backfield. Bateman takes it. Bateman drops back to pass. Quick pass in, almost intercepted, but nevertheless, Southern Virginia Knight ball.
That was Robbie Balboa on the good coverage. And again, nothing in the middle of the field. Bateman's looking down low for his receiver, but really good coverage.
Robbie Balboa, sophomore from Magna, Utah. Excellent jump on the play. Jumped the route, almost had an interception for himself, but nevertheless, Southern Virginia Knight ball, 9:28 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Fresh set of downs for SVU. Hackey back there. He's got Langtree next to him. Jet sweep again for SVU, and he's got space. Excellent run there by SVU's number 21, Isaac McMullen.
And again, a really nice block by Dom Dwyer. If he doesn't make that block, it results in probably no gain. Because Isaac McMullen's able to get around, go for a gain of about 7 yards.
We've seen great success from SVU with those jet sweep option runs, and it has to just be because of the wide receiver blocking. Tried it again, not there, fumbled on the handoff, and it will be Bridgewater ball.
if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the first lost turnover of the day for the Knights, and could be a result of damp conditions with the ball. You know, Hackey, lots of confidence in the pocket right now after that last scoring drive. So just an unfortunate mistake they have to learn from and move forward.
Ball goes back and forth. Southern Virginia defense trots back outside. Bridgewater coming back in. They turned it over on downs their last time out. See what they have in store here. Bateman's back there next to him, the man with the touchdowns, Kennedy Fauntleroy. Outside goes the run. Short gain inside. Viante Tucker with the carry.
And one thing to note is that Bridgewater and Southern Virginia have met 5 times all time. Every time Bridgewater's come out with a victory. So this is a big moment for Southern Virginia, just trailing by 5 late in the game.
Fauntleroy somehow keeps his balance and finds space. Kennedy Fauntleroy in for the touchdown for Bridgewater.
And it seemed like good coverage there, but he found a hole as Fauntleroy's been absolutely lethal in the run game for Bridgewater.
Well, 3 touchdowns so far for Kennedy Fauntleroy. All those runs coming on the inside. Manages to keep his balance. Big gainer for the touchdown for Bridgewater. Kick goes up. That one's good. They get a 21-9 lead for Bridgewater. 8:18 left to go here. Southern Virginia with plenty of time and a lot of momentum on the offensive side. Did kind of get curbed a little bit with that last fumble.
Yeah, the good thing about last possession is you didn't get stalled. You're moving the ball well, but just happened to turn it over through a fumble, and it's still only 2-possession game. 2 touchdowns, you're back in the lead. So no need to panic for Southern Virginia.
Southern Virginia has found good opportunities on the outside run game, really spreading that ball. Again, like you mentioned, the only thing that stopped them last time was themselves. Bridgewater kick it off, 8:18 left to go here in the third quarter. 9-21, Eagles find themselves over top of the SVU Knights.
And with wet conditions, a wet field, wet ball, typically see teams go more with more of a run game. But I'm glad to see that Coach DePay's kind of kept his foot on the gas, keep Bridgewater on their heels. And it's resulted in a scoring drive, obviously, so it'll be interesting to see how they counter the score by Bridgewater.
Williams to return it. Puts his head down, finds a hole. Good return there by Williams.
And Coach DePay speaks really highly of Williams. He's got a lot of upside, he says, works really hard. And just like that, puts his head down and goes through a tackle for 5 more yards.
Now we can't talk about Coach DuPay. We know he was here at SVU, left to go to Navy, comes back to SVU. You had the opportunity to talk to him before the game. What did he talk about his reasoning for wanting to come back here to Buena Vista?
Well, I think big thing is he talked about just the point of life he was at. You know, he'd been a part of a good program at Navy. Obviously, it was at Southern Virginia years before that. But he really felt that this was a time in his life that he needed to go to a new program and take lead himself and help lead these guys and help them grow as young men. And hopefully they can have success on the field, but also off it as well.
That was Dominic Dwyer with the first down pickup for SVU. Hackey back in the shotgun. Hands it off. Swallowed up in the backfield was Langtree. That was Bridgewater's own number 56. DeMarco Fleming, freshman D lineman from Waldorf, Maryland.
Leg strength from Alex Langtree on display there. He's a captain for the Knights this year. but did enough to almost get back to the line of scrimmage rather than a couple yards loss.
Receiver in motion, Hackey back to pass. Hackey looking all sorts of time, airs it out. Looking for it there. There was some contact. There is a flag down, not in the direction of defensive pass or pass interference, instead in the own Knights backfield.
Yeah, they're looking for Jake Shank, senior wide receiver downfield. And it was a good look, just didn't turn around in time, but it looked like Hackey had a lot of open field on the left side. He was just searching for Shank, so he didn't realize it, but he could have ran for maybe a big gain. So missed opportunity for the Knights there.
Brings us to 3rd and 11. We will back up even further now. Another penalty against SVU. Backs him up, 3rd and long, 3rd and 21 here for Hackey and the Knights. Hackey back there with Williams. He drops back to pass. Tucks it and runs. Hackey slides down.
And just as we said, he could have used his legs last play. He's using his legs this time and worked out. Got just a few yards. But I really like what I'm seeing from Hackey so far this game.
Positive play for Hackey.
Didn't come in last game against CNU. That was mostly Isaiah Maxey and Kai Wilkinson, also a freshman from Arizona. But Lachlan Hackey looking really comfortable in the pocket so far.
That's something that can be said about all the young players for the Southern Virginia Knights team. They're all young guys in key positions. A lot of poise coming out from these young men. Pass comes out to Williams. Instead, that is not Williams. That is Southern Virginia's number 41. That is Daquan Williams. So not Kevin Williams, but Daquan Williams out of the backfield with his first reception of the game. Doesn't get too far. Make it 4nd and 14 for SVU.
And even though there's no gain there, good play by Hackey. You know, it could have been an incompletion or even a loss or a sack, but he was able to get it around the arms of DeMarco Fleming and give the Knights at least a chance to perhaps get the first down.
Punt goes off. Fair catch called. That it will be Bridgewater ball at the 32-yard line. 5:25 left to go in the 3rd.
And as we mentioned a lot in the first half, a key to victory for the Knights is to win the kicking battle. And so far, I think Mike Brown's done a really solid job. He's been quite under pressure back kicking for the Knights, but he's had a really nice couple of punts to force Bridgewater back into their own end.
Absolutely, with the exception of that one early hit for SVU. Excellent job on the special teams. Big run in. Kennedy Fauntleroy stays on his feet, finds more space. No one can catch Kennedy Fauntleroy. 4th touchdown for the man from Maryland.
He just has absurd speed. You could see number 26, Colby Knight, almost caught him, dove for it, but couldn't quite get him. Just amazing speed by Fauntleroy. As he's basically single-handedly brought the Knights to this big lead that they've taken.
Absolutely right. They haven't been able to find much on the passing side of things. Hand that ball off to number 4 and watch him work. 5:14 left to go, 27-9 lead for Bridgewater. Kick goes up, extra point is up and good. Make it a 28-9 lead for Bridgewater. Southern Virginia has to find an answer on the offensive side.
Yeah, this is a time in the game where Southern Virginia just has to put these couple of drives behind them, because with the exception of these 5 minutes, this game's been within one possession the entire time. And the Knights have been playing really well defensively and offensively, so they just need to put this behind them and move forward.
Turn team comes out. Something to be said, we usually see Jairick Washington back to receive kicks for SVU. Haven't seen him in quite some time, mainly been Williams, and now we see Lanktree back there for SVU.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a little bit of an injury for Jairick or if they're just trying to change things up and give other players opportunities on the kick return. He did handle almost every single kick return last week against CNU, than during the first half today against Bridgewater.
A tough-fought game against the Captains. I know it was 1 week ago. 1 week, not enough time for physical teams that come out of the ODAC.
And Coach Zubay said that he expected a considerable improvement from last week to this week, and so far we've gotten that so far.
Return come in. Space found, brings it up to the 26-yard line.
And Southern Virginia also finding that they can rely on just more than not just Jyreek in the quick return, but Kevin Williams is doing a really good job. Has a little bit different approach to it. Jyreek obviously very speedy and tries to find his way around tackles. Kevin Williams tends to just bull rush his way through the tackles.
Strong runner is Williams. Now we see Daquan Williams back in the backfield with Hackey. Another run on the outside. Southern Virginia finds some space, pushed out of bounds.
It's another good block there by Don Dwyer. Could have resulted in a loss, but Isaac McMullen's able to get around him and the defender he's blocking for a few yards.
Gain of 4, 2nd and 6 underway. See Jaron Dixon lined up on the outside, one-on-one with his man. He's being covered by Noah Hines. Man in motion. Hackey hands it off, swallowed up in the backfield. Bridgewater jumping up down saying the ball came out. Officials will take a look at it.
And initially the official pointed to the ground to say he was down. I think they might keep that as the ruling.
And it does look like that is the way it will stay. Southern Virginia ball. Man shaken up on the play.
Daquan was just swallowed up again. Inside run game really hasn't been there for the Knights. They've typically opted to do that jet sweep motion that we talk about and get a screen to the outside. And occasionally they go back to the inside run game, but it's just not working today.
Daquan Williams comes off the field. And maybe the reason we haven't seen too much success on the interior running side for SVU is that 3-man front that Bridgewater comes up with. Got the all ODAC man in Harris out there. Just big boys up on that the defensive 3.
Yeah, a lot of size, strength, and experience. So Southern Virginia, typically really good run game. We do have great running backs in the backfield, but it just shows you how good Bridgewater is down there.
Quick pass in. Hit down the middle, but a good gain for SVU. That was number 81, KK Baker, on the reception for SVU. Brings up 1st and 10 for the Knights.
KK Baker, another freshman from Utah that's seen a few touches.
After the first down gain from KK Baker, there is a Eagle down on the field. That is number 7, Sean Harris, graduate student defensive back from Washington, D.C.
And another good thing I've seen from the Knights is the receivers especially, they're not afraid to take hits. And oftentimes we see receivers expecting a hit, and they end up dropping the ball, but they've held on tightly, and it's resulted in some big gains for first downs.
Offense set and ready. Defense trots out.
Let's see if they look towards the side of Jake Shank on the right side. He's all alone with the defensive back.
New center in for the SVU Knights. That's number 75, Jacob Moody, comes into the game. Moody, a sophomore from Gulf Breeze, Florida. Man in charge of the ball. Hackey takes a snap. Keeps it in for himself. Hackey runs. Lachlan Hackey.
And that's the first time I think we've seen a set play for Hackey to use his legs. So good job with the Southern Virginia offense, not staying predictable and making a really nice fake to the receiver. I'm not sure if that was Isaac McMullins again, but nonetheless a great game.
Fresh set of downs. Hackey back there. Kevin Williams beside him. Trips left man alone on the right side. SVU's number 6, Jake Schenk. Hackey keeps it himself, and he's swallowed up inside. It's number 97 for Bridgewater. Preston Turner, another graduate student from Blairs, Virginia.
And getting into scoring position before the end of the third quarter will go a long way for the Knights. Trail by 3 touchdowns, but if you get in scoring position and get at least a field goal, it seems that much smaller.
Quick pass outside. Had the space, gets the first down. Scott Dupay with the big reception.
And Scott Dupay, another receiver for the Knights that Coach Dupay mentioned would be in motion a lot, and we've seen that from him as he's gotten a lot of targets so far today.
Trips right, Hackey in the shotgun. Kevin Williams behind him. 4-man front for Bridgewater. Hand to the outside. Kevin Williams. Williams stays on his feet. Looking for more. Short gain for Kevin Williams. He's brought down by TJ Lowry.
And while it's a solid game, the Knights are really close to having an even greater gain. I think it was either Johansson or McMullen who just barely couldn't get in front of his blocker. And fortunately for Bridgewater, they were able to get in front of the receiver and make the tackle.
2nd and 3. Kevin Williams out. Langtree back in. Takes it to the near side, finds some more room again. Isaac McMullen with another gain.
Knights just feeding towards that right side. He keeps working. Bridgewater hasn't been able to adjust yet.
Excuse me, it seems that every time that Bridgewater brings Harris over on that left side, Knights run to right at him. Best way to take out a good defensive end, run right in his face. It looks like the Knights are just going to let this quarter dribble away. That they do. 4th quarter underway. Eagles lead 28-9 over top of SVU, but SVU with some momentum on the offensive side.
The Knights Athletic Department would like to thank the following sponsors for their continued support. Stride, Vincent, Brace Automotive, Papa John Pizza, locally owned and operated.
And just to recap some of these keys to victory that Coach Dupay mentioned earlier this week, I think for the most part, the Knights have either broke even or won the turnover battle. The kicking game, certain aspects of the kicking game have been strong, others not so much. But I think for the most part, this looks like a very much improved team just from last week. Obviously, lots of newcomers, 50-plus newcomers on the team, loads of freshmen. And Coach Dubé mentioned there's going to be tons of learning curves. You can't expect too much from a group of newcomers in the first week. But the second week performance, despite being down 3 touchdowns has been a lot improved against a really solid Bridgewater team, projected to be second in a strong ODAC conference.
Absolutely, still a very young season upon us. Only the second game for both these squads. Take a look at the upcoming schedules for both these teams. Southern Virginia, next 2 games, they will be at Randolph, or here against Randolph-Macon, then go away. That is September 23rd at Methodist. Hackey fumbles a snap, covers it up. Brings up second down for the Knights.
And that's the thing about the receivers being in motion so much. There's a lot of opportunity for error. And so far the Knights have done a really good job preventing that.
Next couple of games for this Bridgewater squad. They'll be home against NC Wesleyan. Then they'll be away at Hampton-Sydney to take on the Tigers in Farmville.
I don't expect the Knights to shy away from that motion from the wide receivers on the left. It's been working all game long.
Hackey rolls out to his left, flag in the backfield, looks to be holding. Airs it out, does Hackey. That one dropped in the end zone. Bridgewater was looking for a flag in the end zone for maybe offensive pass interference, but they did get one in the backfield. Looks like it will be holding against SVU. Want to back up the Knights even further.
Yeah, so tough couple of plays there. A botched snap and then an offensive penalty, it looks like, as the Knights were in field goal range, but now that's pushed them outside of that.
Oregon offense, number 63, 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
And we'll be holding against Southern Virginia's number 63. That is Hugo Ortega Sanchez with the holding call. Makes it 2nd and 27 for SVU.
But here you still got a couple of plays, so just positive plays. Positive plays is all you need to get back into field goal position. Nothing too big.
Bushman coming in. Hackey keeps it himself. Good gain there by SVU on the option run to the right side.
Third down.
I've been really impressed this game by the freshman Isaac McMullen from Darien, Connecticut. He's been able to get loose quite a few times, unlike last week. And also with the absence of Jairick Washington in this half, he's been a key cog in that offense.
Big throw by Hackey, looking up for his man. Had him there, couldn't haul it down. He was looking for Matthew Johansson on that pass.
And not a bad idea. Matt Johansson boasts a lot of athleticism. We saw it last year as well. Some crazy grabs in the end zone. So they sent it up high for him, but just barely couldn't come down with that one.
Matt Johansson, a senior from Troy, Michigan, couldn't get that one down. Southern Virginia punts it away. Another excellent punt for SVU. Fielded inside the 10 of Bridgewater. 13:41 left to go here in the fourth quarter.
Bridgewater will take over on their own 10-yard line.
See if we see any changes by the Bridgewater offense coming out here. Looks like it still will be Bateman back there at the quarterback position. And next to him, Kennedy Fauntleroy. Two tight ends in motion.
Fauntleroy, obviously, they need to keep an eye on.
Handed off to Fauntleroy, right up the middle. Almost a no-gainer on that one. Good stop by the Southern Virginia defense.
And I think the Knights are expecting that. He's burned them twice in the last few minutes of gameplay.
Also good for SVU. We saw big number 90 back out there, Enoki Kaufusi. Saw him walk off the field, had to go back into the locker room to get checked out. Good to see him back out on the field and playing good football for SVU. 2nd down and 7. Another handoff. That one to Fauntleroy. Another no-gainer there. Great work by the SVU defense. That was Stockton Ferguson in on the tackle.
And Robbie Balboa on top.
So Rick Barry, defensive coordinator for the Knights, a really nice adjustment. Of course, not wanting Faltor to single-handedly beat them, which is what it seemed like so far this afternoon.
Fauntleroy not in the game right now. Timeout will be called. 12:26 left to go here in the fourth quarter.
And with the Knights adjusting defensively to stop Fauntleroy a couple times in a row, it'll be interesting to see how the offensive Bridgewater adjust. Of course, early here in the fourth quarter, they have a 3-touchdown lead. They're going to want to try and bleed at least a little bit of the clock. But if they can't get anything going with their star running back, at least for now, we'll see if they go back to the passing game.
It'll be a tall ask for defensive coordinator for the Knights, Coach Barry. Coach Barry, like I mentioned, coming out of Utah, winning a national or a state championship there. He's brought some family along with him too, it seems.
He sure has. He has his son, Coach Brett, who has been his assistant coach for the past 20-plus years. So really nice to see Coach Brett down there as well.
Ball alongside, good gain for Bridgewater. You see Coach Brett wandering the sidelines. All the players, they take orders from him too. You see him talking to the players, they're just shaking their heads, yes sir.
Oh, he's a great motivation, a great eye, I'm sure, for the guys down on the sideline. And it's just great to have.
12 minutes left to go here in the fourth quarter. 28-9 lead for Bridgewater. And Bateman alone in the backfield. Back to pass. Looks short, has a man. And that man's got space. Foot race on the outside. One man to beat, finally brought outside. On the tackle, Jamar Robinson for SVU.
Yeah, I think that was number 18, Ian Brown for Bridgewater. Which for the Eagles, that's a really nice looking play, as they haven't seen too much success outside of the huge runs from Fauntleroy.
So Ian Brown with a big gain. Head coach Lem.
Flag down by Coach Lem.
Head coach Lem having a word with the officials. And the official showing him a flag.
Yeah, he was certainly displeased about something. I'm not sure what happened over by the sideline there.
We'll get an official call here in just a second.
And eligible downfield on the offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, flying first down.
It looks like the flag not on Coach Lem, but instead on the offensive Bridgewater. Takes that big gain, turns to a 5-yard loss.
Yeah, which is too bad for the Eagles because there was tons of space in the middle of the field when the receiver caught the ball. So, again, winning the mental game is really important, and the Eagles failed on that one.
Bateman fakes it to Loader. Bateman, big pass over. Has a man deep. Ball goes out, fumble down. No signal yet. And that belongs to SVU.
And it looked like, Seth Dahl kind of got caught looking at the ball, didn't play the man. It almost resulted into a really big play for Bridgewater. But again, the Knights, now officially I can say winning the turnover battle, it seems like, with a couple of fumble recoveries recently here.
A couple of fumbles today on the side of Bridgewater. Southern Virginia getting a number of those. Rain still coming down lightly, but something we haven't seen here in Buena Vista quite some time. Sun's out. Southern Virginia has it. Jet sweep on the right side. Stays on his feet. Good 5-yard gain there for SVU. That was Dominic Dwyer on the carry.
Yeah, that's a really strong carry by Dom Dwyer. I think he was a little frustrated after the last drive. He had some open space on the left side of the field, but wasn't targeted. But powered his way to about 6 yards on that one.
Hackey in the backfield. Hackey to pass. Airs it out. Lachlan Hackey had his man there, threw it into double coverage. That one luckily batted down.
Yeah, they're not shying away from the big plays. Typically looking for Jake Shank down there.
And that's it, we're looking there. Looking for number 6, Jake Shank for SVU.
You know, it was a tad underthrown, which is why there are about 3 defensive backs in the area for Bridgewater.
3rd and 4. Dwyer has it. Dwyer couldn't find the edge. Brought down.
Yeah, it
Scary
looked like he
scenes.
slipped on the turf there.
The scary scenes, we saw Dwyer go around, lose his footing. Then he was down there for just a half second, get everyone here at the field. A little bit of a catch of their breath.
It looks like they're going to bring out Mike Brown, the punter. They're just a hair outside of field goal range.
And those give Brown an opportunity to really pin back the Eagles in their own offensive side. Punt goes in, hits an SVU man, and it'll be marked down.
Yeah, I think for Mike Brown, he wanted that ball to sail a little bit further downfield as it hit the back of one of his teammates. Nonetheless, pretty good job by the special teams of Southern Virginia. Have Bridgewater pinned inside their own 20-yard line.
Be 1st and 10 from the Bridgewater 17. Bateman back there, Fauntleroy back there with him. Big pass, Bateman. That one's overthrown. Couldn't find the man, Tyler Gilliam. Saw a lot of Tyler Gilliam there in that first quarter. Been really quiet so far in the second half of the game.
Yeah, he had a step there, but again, the Knights defense has tightened up a lot with regards to the passing game. Obviously, we've seen Fauntleroy get loose on some runs for big gains and 2 touchdowns. But certainly the Knights have tightened things up with regards to the passing game on defense.
And that'll be handed off to Kennedy Fauntleroy, stuffed in the backfield by the Knights. And on that, tackle number 3 for SVU, Stockton Ferguson, one of the captains of this team, bringing down Fauntleroy.
Yeah, one of the best tacklers on the team. Obviously a team captain as well. And I think he was 2nd on the team last week with 7 tackles at CNU.
Third and 8. Bateman back to pass. Pressure coming in. Quick pass found. Look for space. Finds some more space. Now he's in the open. Finally brought down out of bounds. Cedric Drumgoole with a big gain for Bridgewater.
Yeah, and that's the 2nd time in the last few plays, the last few minutes, that Bridgewater sent their left tackle out into the open field to make some key blocks for them, and it's working well right now for Bridgewater.
So fresh set of downs. 8:45 and counting left on the clock. Bateman has it, single back formation behind him. Hands it off to Fauntleroy. Fauntleroy swallowed up. That time, Seth Dahl in on the tackle. For Seth Dahl, family of women's soccer head coach Rob Dahl, both coming out of Utah over here to Buena Vista, Virginia.
Yep, his nephew.
Run inside, finds some space, chugs along, close to a first down. Looks like they'll mark him just beyond. Fresh set of downs for Bridgewater.
That was Brady Loader, number 30, if I'm not mistaken. But a rare miss in the run game defensively in the last few minutes for the Knights. He found a wide open lane right down the middle.
Strong on the right side, handoff to Loader. That time stuffed right at the line of scrimmage by SVU. Loader makes his way out. New man in for Bridgewater. That is a Brendan Robinson.
And so far, a picture perfect drive for Bridgewater. They may have been able to move the ball consistently, bleed the clock down as we see only less than 7 minutes remaining in the game.
First handoff for Robinson. Tripped up and stopped. Hunter Lewis in on the tackle for SVU.
Yeah, a lot of slippery feet here in the second half, which is expected after the big rainstorm that caused the delay in the first half. Makes it difficult to make cuts.
Brendan Robinson listed as a DB, playing running back today for Bridgewater. Bateman has it, play action pass, pressure coming from the Knights. Quick pass out, he's got space. Robinson down, keeps his balance. Won't mark him out of bounds, makes his way down inside the 10.
And the Knights were looking for out of bounds right around the 30-yard line. I don't think they're gonna get it.
There is an argument to be made. He would have stepped out right here in front of the Southern Virginia bench. Officials didn't give it to him, give him that extra 15 yards on that kick.
I think that was Hunter Lewis who almost made the play. Maybe he did make the play, but the refs didn't see the foot out of bounds. But nonetheless, Bridgewater has the ball inside the 10-yard line now.
Red zone drive, Bridgewater.
And their red zone offense has been pretty much perfect. 2 touchdowns in the first half in the red zone. Looked like a broken play right there.
Looked to hand it off. Robinson went to the wrong side. Bateman carried himself. Short gain for Bridgewater. As the Eagles shaking up on the play, slow to get up. Bridgewater number 70. That is Adam Bowling, 6'6", 290-pound junior from Apex, North Carolina.
And Adam Bowling certainly been an important part of the offensive line, has prevented the pass rushers of Southern Virginia to get anywhere close to Bateman for the most part.
And Bowling really has been a stalwart at that right tackle position so far.
Yeah, they're really the only chance that Southern Virginia has had getting to the quarterback has been linebackers rushing from the outside. But Bateman also very mobile and has been able to elude lots of opportunities for sacks.
Big man makes his way off the field. Good to see him walking off the field on his own power. Bridgewater offense makes its way back out. Southern Virginia defense got the big boys in at D-tackle, looking to make a stop here. 2nd and 4. Man playing quarterback now for Bridgewater. That's number 17, Malcolm Anderson. We saw him in the red zone in the first half. Anderson with the run. Anderson real close, no call yet. They'll mark him short about a yard.
And that's an interesting decision by Bridgewater. You know, obviously we've seen Bateman for the most part a freshman with little experience compared to fifth-year man Malcolm Anderson. And then typically in the gun position, Bridgewater's had Jalen Wood to be the ball carrier in that position. So maybe there's just experimenting with new things.
Had him dead to rights in the backfield, but Malcolm Anderson makes his way through. Another Bridgewater Eagles touchdown.
Yeah, with the depth and talent that Bridgewater have, there's only so many times you can force turnovers and prevent them from marching down the field. So obviously a tough defensive stand there, but they've done a really good job so far today.
Interesting strategy by head coach Scott Lem. Kick goes up. That one is good. Make it a 35 to 9 over top of the Knights. Going back to head coach Scott Lem in his third year over at Bridgewater. Graduated from James Madison University, was a Duke up there in Harrisonburg, just up the street from us. Well, like you mentioned before, we've seen 3 quarterbacks in 2 games here for Bridgewater. Bateman starting today. We've seen Anderson just then. We saw him in the first half there in the red zone. Interesting to know kind of what his reasoning is to see so many quarterbacks in so little games so far.
Yeah, obviously early in this season, he wants as many players to get as much time on the field as possible to gain that experience. You know, only 10 games in the Division III football season. And of course, Malcolm Anderson, plenty of experience. He's been there before, done that, as well as Jalen Wood. So a nice showing from Bateman.
Yeah, Malcolm Anderson in last week's game against Susquehanna, 7-13 for 157 yards and 1 TD. The rushing leader was Jalen Wood last week. Obviously this week it will be Kennedy Falteroy after a big performance from the man from Maryland. Kickoff underway. Langtree back to receive. Will be brought down by Alex Langtree and returned. Good blocking up front. Space had a man to beat, couldn't get past Derek Jenkins.
Again, Alex Langtree showing also that he's another good option on the kick return following Jair Washington and Kevin Williams.
And we will get to see Lachlan Hackey back in there at the quarterback position. He is joined by Tyden Morris of SVU. First time we see Tyden Morris on the field so far. First carry for the young man. First carry for Tyden Morris. It looks like it will be a loss of 1. Good defensive effort by the front line of Bridgewater. And Tyden Morris, another one of those freshmen we mentioned before, first-year man out of St. George, Utah, formerly playing for Desert Hills.
So obviously, comfort and familiarity with Coach Rick Barry, of course, winning state championship together last year.
Nice pass on the outside. That was Jalen Troy on the catch. Jalen Troy, the big tight end out of Danville, Virginia. Good to see the tight ends getting involved in the passing game on the offense. Seen a lot of good blocking for them throughout the day as well.
Yeah, Jalen Troy's got big size, great hands, really strong. Also threw shot put during the indoor track season last year for a little bit. And he's certainly the type of athlete they want to get into the mix.
Hands it off. Small game, but a powerful run. Morris now in the positive net yards after that small gain for SVU. Son of Jim with a lot to deal with. Lined up at nose tackle for Bridgewater. Number 99, Andrew Brown, 6'2", 315 sophomore at the nose tackle position. Somehow gets it away, turning a for sure negative into a good positive play for SVU. Dominic Dwyer again on the run.
Yeah, almost seemed like it was Wasn't a broken play, but Bridgewater read that one all along. But fortunately for Hackey, he was able to shovel it over to Dom Dwyer and get back to the line of scrimmage. But just as Bridgewater, Southern Virginia able to get a 3-quarterback rotation through the first 2 games. Obviously Hackey seeing the entirety of the second half.
Quick pass out, small gain. Gain of about 3.
And obviously we're not exactly sure what motivated Coach Dupay to put Hackey in, but he does seem to show a bit more of a dual threat QB than Isaiah Maxey, for example, as they've given a couple of run-specific plays for Hackey.
Lachlan Hackey, like I mentioned, freshman out of Idaho Falls. He took over for SVU's number 2, the man that started last week against Christopher Newport. Isaiah Maxey, sophomore from Jefferson, Georgia. You gotta like what you've seen from both young men so far today. A lot of poise shown for such young players.
Yeah, I liked a lot of what I saw out of Isaiah Maxey in the first half. Obviously, he kept them in the game. They're only down by a possession when he came out. But Hackey's also been electric on the offensive side.
Hackey drops back. That one's intercepted right into the hands of Bridgewater number 43. And that's one of those men not on the roster right now.
Yeah, and just as I say that, you know, the first big mistake by Hackey, he's been able to find receivers in the right open spots, but that time right into the breadbasket of the Bridgewater defender.
So a turnover by Southern Virginia brings the defense back out onto the field. 1:27 left to go here in the game. Bridgewater with a commanding 35-9 lead over top of SVU, and you'd imagine they just run this clock out.
Yeah, just 1:27 left. That's probably what they're thinking. It's too bad that the turnover happened when it did, because typically, you know, last couple of minutes, you want to keep your offense on the field as much as possible to give all your players some experience. So an untimely turnover, and Bridgewater's just gonna
kneel that one
and let the clock drain down.
Well, yeah, a hard-fought game by both squads. Eagles finding a lot of success there in the second half with the run game, and their offense really starting to pick up.
Yeah, the game was a lot closer than it seems to be with the final score here. Obviously, Faltroy exploded for a couple of big touchdown runs, but for the most part, it was within a possession or two for the night, so it was within grasp. And I think they performed really well on both sides of the ball. Really stuck to the keys to victory that Coach Dupay talked about. And this is something to build off of. A lot better performance than last week against CNU, still against a really quality opponent, projected to be second in the ODAC this year.
Clock continues to wind down. It looks like we will see one more kneel of the football. And that one goes into the books, not the homecoming that head coach Joe Dupay wanted, but still a very young time, young team, young season. A lot of opportunity here for these Southern Virginia Knights. A well-coached game by both men. Head coach Scott Lim gets his first win of the new 2023 season.
Yeah, so I think this is a game that both teams, certain aspects they might be disappointed about, but also a lot of things that they can build off of that went well for them. So I expect Southern Virginia to improve each week and hopefully get into win column against Randolph-Macon. But with such a young team, they're only going to be improving from here on out.
And again, still a very young season. We'll talk about the next upcoming games for both of these squads. Bridgewater College Eagles, they will be at home. That's September 16th, Saturday against NC Wesleyan. That game's at 2 p.m. Southern Virginia returns home that same day, September 16th. Face off against Randolph-Macon. Kickoff at 1 p.m. Quinn, before we take it out of here, any last-minute thoughts, impressions, and feelings of today's game?
Well, I think there's lots of optimism here in Buena Vista with the football team. Obviously under new leadership, Coach Dupay really has established the culture that he wants, a culture of love, and players that are really bought in and want to improve not just on the field, but off it as well. And so I think things are looking up for the Southern Virginia football team this year.
Thank you very much, Quinn. That'll do it for us here The Knights Athletic Department would like to thank the following sponsors for the continued support of Knight Athletics: Straws Drink and Eats, Grace Automotive, Papa John's, Mill Creek Orthodontics, Vinyl Cuts, The Beeve, Katana, River Crossing Apartments, and Cornerstone Bank. If your business would like to partner with Knights Athletics, please contact Brett Schroeder at 801-633-1894. That's 801-633-1894. For Quinn Meyer, I'm Chris Fly signing off here for Southern Virginia football. This has been a presentation of SVU football. Have a good night.